大家好，欢迎。今天我们有很多新闻，我们我们需要马上开始。We need to start right now. There's a lot of stuff in the news. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. Um, but first, before that, I hope you're all doing well. um, I try to do this as much as I can. I got school stuff um, at work, so it makes it hard to do this. But I love just being able to talk about what I think about what's going on. Just I don't know. I started this because I just have all these thoughts all the time about things happening, and I need to share it, express it, basically kind of practice getting my thoughts out there. I need to detangle them because as I think about them, they're clear, but when I have to go and explain them to someone, they get tangled up again. And so I'm just trying to get through that. But because there's so much today, I just have to kind of start. And we're just gonna be reading basically some articles that I wanted to read. Um, but I guess I kind of want to start with the fact that um, I think I brought this up. No, I brought this up in my stream last night. Trump had a press conference before going to Davos, in which he basically did vibeflation rhetoric, where he's like telling people like, "Oh yeah, no, everything's great," even though people are clearly feeling it with their pockets. Things are more expensive. People are finding it harder to afford paying their mortgage, which surprisingly, there was actually a stat that came out that when Trump initially was doing like the federal government doing like or purchasing like mortgage or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it was. They were like doing mortgage. They were buying people like mortgages or buying people's mortgage. I can't remember the exact language that they used, but basically this was actually helping, right? It helps. It helps. It helps. Like people are paying, having to pay less for their mortgage. And then there was like there was something that happened. Let me see if I can find it. There was something that happened in which it they kind of just did away with it, and it spiked back up, and so people were paying um the same exact price on their mortgage that they were paying before. It was like actual successful program, but um yeah, something happened there. But also in his press conference, he was talking about how he was talking about how ICE was going into Minneapolis, and they were arresting all these dangerous criminals and rapists and pedophiles. And it turns out that all the people that he was that they're apprehending, they went to the prisons and picked them up from there. So it's like, hey dude, you're not actually picking anybody up, right? And so there's like this it's just like you're doing first of all, you're doing propaganda. And I explained this to someone before. It's like not all propaganda is bad, but like this is bad propaganda, right? You're going in, you're saying, oh, look at the thousands of people we've gotten, and the vast majority of them are coming from prisons. And so that kind of destroys the narrative, right? It absolutely destroys the narrative, because the narrative is that these people are roaming the streets, or they've been let go because of sanctuary cities. And actually, this is actually a good point, good time to show the video of God, where is it? I'm gonna find it. There was a video that was circulating a few days ago, and it was like it was a woman in Minneapolis, and she was crying. And so what the people with the account, the conservatives were saying that this woman was hysterically crying because ICE was conducting a search for two child rapists living in her neighborhood. That's right, she was crying for child rapists. That's not the case at all. Now I don't have the story up, right? But as you can see here by Evan Loves Wharf, she was crying because they took her neighbor out of his house half naked in sub-zero temperatures and accused him of being a child rapist, ignored him, saying he was a citizen, and it turned out they had the wrong guy. And I mean, the fact that they tweeted this out, and then there was a news story. The fact that this didn't get community noted is crazy, first and foremost. But there was the article came out about how this man, they first of all, ICE broke into the house, which they cannot do. That is illegal. They did not have a judicial warrant to go into the house. An administrative warrant is not the same as a judicial warrant. So they just broke into the house. His daughter-in-law and his grandchild were in there. They pointed guns at um, the daughter-in-law, and I think even the fucking child that was in there. And then they grabbed this man and literally took him out in his underwear. They nabbed him like he as he walked out of the bedroom to see what was going on. Right. His son was I think headed to work, and they said that he was one of the pedophiles, and then they changed it to he was harboring pedophiles, and then they were just like, no, we just have the wrong guy. Nobody lives here. I think they were like, oh, it's like the owner of the house, because it was a rented house. The owner of the house, there were two names for the owners of the house, and so that was what they were using. Turns out the owners of the house don't have any connection to that either. And also, I think they even stopped the son at some point along the way to him from him going to work. And same thing, it's like no, nothing came up. They were just looking for two totally different people, but I think they might have had the same name. It's crazy, but conservatives were running with this. And now the thing, one thing I've noticed quite a lot frequently or recently is that conservatives on Twitter recently have been really throwing out videos as one thing, and they've been community noted. And as they get community noted, the conservatives still share that shit, and it's crazy. It's crazy, and people, it's just like you see, it's community noted. It's not real. It's not what they say it is. People are just, they're not, first of all, they're just not reading the community notes, I guess, or they're just completely ignoring the community notes and believing whatever that conservative account is telling them, and it's dangerous as hell. Okay. Um. So anyway, so that happened. I want to go. I gotta curtail it back to Trump's press conference. I got here because of propaganda, right? Um, so yeah, so he's doing the propaganda, but the actual facts disprove what the notion that he was pushing. They're not taking people off the streets. They're actually going to prisons and taking people out of the prisons and saying that they took them off the streets. He was doing vibeflation, and then so he goes to Davos. First of all, their plane had to turn around for electrical issues, but a bunch of people are like, "Oh my God, the plane's turning around. Is this it? Is he dying?" Which I think is fucking hilarious. And then two, gets to Davos, and he starts talking. Um, he starts talking. He ends up bringing up um, Greenland, of course, and then I guess there was a bunch of world leaders at Davos who were talking about how Greenland is not, it's not for sale, it's not for you. and then I guess they kind of come up with some kind of framework for negotiations, which I think is kind of silly. But I think it's gonna be through like giving plots of land to America for like more military bases, which honestly, that might be worse. That might be fucking worse than just giving Greenland to America. Because, I mean, if you start giving them more military bases, what does that mean? More military personnel. What does more military personnel mean? Um, Well, I mean, with the way Trump has been talking about things, he could just do whatever the fuck he wants. And I mean, did we all see the Truth Social post of him sitting next to a map of um America's conquered Canada and Greenland? Did we all see that? I'm pretty sure we all saw the same image. And at first I was like, this can't be fucking real, right? This is a joke. Turns out, no, that is real. That really happened, and he's really thinking about it. Canada, you are not safe, which is why what Mark Carney did, um, going to China and establishing a new relation, a more stable relation, was the smart move. Now, I'm not great with foreign policy. I know very little about foreign policy, but I can say without a doubt that that was the right move, and it's probably time for Europe to make a similar move because America is fucking up the relations. America is just uh I'm trying to find better words. America is just going to take advantage of everything. America's got military bases all over Europe. America's got military base in Greenland, and Trump, you know, joking about taking over Canada. He's going for Greenland. He went to Venezuela. He went to Greenland. What's to stop him from going anywhere the fuck else? I mean, god damn it. If he's getting concessions on Greenland, what's going to stop him from getting more concessions out of them? It does not stop with him, okay? It does not stop. You have to tell him no. You have to put your foot down. Stop calling him daddy because that's fucking disgusting and it's not okay. It's not okay. What's the NATO uh director's name from, like, I think he's from Denmark, or not Denmark, I'm sorry, the Netherlands. He's not fucking Trump is not daddy, okay? Listen, motherfucker. He's going to take advantage of you. He's going to take advantage of Europe, and you can't stop him if you don't stop him now. That's all I'm gonna say. So you gotta do that. Denmark, get your nukes. Europe, get your nukes. Europe, you need to literally have some kind of separate agreement amongst European nations, because we're telling you um, that Trump is a tyrannical force, and if you don't act now, there will be no stopping him in the future. Okay, you have to act now. So anyway, again, I'm not good with foreign policy, so I'm gonna stop there. I wanted to I wanted to actually move. I saw I was seeing this um because I wanted to move into to Gaza for a moment. Again, sorry, I it's all over the place because my thoughts are a jumbled mess. So, um, I saw this. They've unveiled their plan for a new Gaza. Okay, Trump wanted to turn it into a tourist attraction, right? For the last, you know, for 2 years, there was a genocide happening in Gaza, correctly pointed out by scholars, by pro-Palestinian voices, and the the supposed ceasefire that happened where Palestinians are still being killed. Um, it's genocide and ethnic cleansing. They have pushed Palestinians into smaller. They're pushing Palestinians into smaller areas within Gaza, and they've been slowly moving lines. Israel has slowly been moving lines to what they are, control the area that they're controlling in Gaza. And so then Jared Kushner comes out and unveils the new Gaza with the Board of Peace, which is, I guess, Netanyahu's going to be part of. Trump wants Putin to be part of it. Um, Trump likes to surround himself with bad people. Trump is a bad guy. Okay, I mean he's one of the worst. Which is why when someone says they want the worst thing to happen to him, I mean it makes sense. So they're unveiling this. Palestinians right now are exposed to winter conditions. They're cold. They are dying of hypothermia. They still don't have enough food. They don't still don't have access to enough clean water. So there is an article out, and I just feel the need to talk about this a little bit. I want to read it, bring it to attention. Um, so desperate Palestinians at a garbage dump in a Gaza neighborhood dug up with their bare hands for plastic items to burn to keep warm in the cold and damp winter, and in the enclave battered by 2 years of the Israel-Hamas war. I hate this. It was a genocide. Israel was committing a genocide against the people in Gaza. That's what it is. It wasn't just a war. It was a genocide. The scene in the Mawazi area of the city of Khan Yunis contrasted starkly with the vision of the territory projected by world leaders gathered in Davos, Switzerland, where they inaugurated U.S. President Trump's Board of Peace that will oversee Gaza. This will bring nothing good. Again, Trump wants to. Hey, Trump. We already knew when Trump first got into office. I think even before that, I can't remember the exact timeline, but he was talking about um, uh, like building a robust tourist destination in the Gaza Strip. I think this was after the presidency, where they tweeted out that AI video of this beautiful like oceanfront, or not ocean but seafront property in Gaza, and belly dancing and money, casinos, yada yada yada. They did that. That was that's what they want to turn it into. They want to turn it into a destination um, that is profitable to whoever has the money to give Trump and say, hey, I want a stake in this. That also goes with Greenland. That's part of the reason they want Greenland. Greenland is prime for those fucking bloodthirsty um tech bros that want to build their own cities, their own serfdoms, basically, to rule over. That's kind of that's what they're looking for, right? That's part of the Greenland thing. And so here we are talking about them doing it in Gaza. They ethnically cleanse people from the area, and then they're going to pave over it, and they're going to turn it in. They want to turn it into a tourist destination. Where do all the inhabitants of Gaza go? They don't care. That's why they've been trying to ask several different countries to take Palestinians, and they have said no. What do you mean take Palestinians? Why can't Palestinians live peacefully where they are? Well, Israel is an apartheid state, and it has been since its inception. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump claimed that the world record levels of humanitarian aid that entered Gaza since October started the U.S. Of a center. Sorry, had oh my God, at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump claimed that record levels of humanitarian aid had entered Gaza since the October start of a U.S. brokered ceasefire deal. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and envoy Steve Witkoff triumphantly touted devastated territories' developmental potential. That shouldn't be a sentence, by the way. In Gaza, months into the truce, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians still languish in displacement camps, sheltering in tents and war-ravaged buildings, unable to protect them from the temperatures dropping below 10 degrees Celsius, that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit, at night. And you may be thinking, oh, 50 degrees, 50 degrees, that's not that cold. Um, we tend to think that, but I mean, let's be real, for the human body, like that is pretty damn cold. If you're out in, it says dropping below 50 degrees. If you're out in 40-degree weather at night with very little layers, that's cold, and your body is trying to keep you warm. That's where hypothermia sets in, especially with children. Children's bodies aren't accustomed to that type of that level of regulation. Their bodies struggle to maintain homeostasis. And if you know children, you know that if you go outside in hot weather or cold weather, you can only do that for so long because they're going to overheat or they're going to get extremely cold very fast. It happens very fast. You should only have kids out in hot weather or cold weather for no more than 20 minutes. No more than 20. I would say 15 is already too much. So, anyways, this committee includes some in Gaza expressed skepticism. God, I didn't even read this. I'm sorry. I'm going too fast. Despite the ceasefire, there are still recurring deadly strikes in Gaza. Israel tank shelling on Thursday killed 4 Palestinians east of Gaza City, according to Mohammed Abu Salmiya, a director of the Shifa hospital where the bodies were taken. The Israeli military did not immediately comment. Now, I also saw that they killed journalists. I don't know if this is the same strike, but they did kill 4 journalists. Was it yesterday or the day before? Some in Gaza expressed skepticism about Trump's board of peace and whether it would change their grim lives. They probably won't even put a Palestinian person on this board because the Palestinians have historically been left out of talks such as this. They were not part of the Abraham Accords. That was not a thing. They had no say. This committee includes Israelis. I don't understand as citizens. This committee includes Israelis. I don't understand as citizens. How can we understand the situation? Rami Rami Galban, who was displaced from Khan Yunis, said Thursday, the Israelis that inflicted suffering upon us. But grappling with what's ahead seems futile for others. We are in a position where there are no alternatives, said Fatih Abu Sultan. Our situation is miserable. While aid flow into Gaza has significantly increased since the ceasefire, residents say fuel and firewood are in short supply. Prices are exorbitant, and searching for firewood is dangerous. 2 13-year-old boys were shot and killed by Israeli forces on Wednesday as they tried to collect firewood, hospital official says. This is what I'm saying. Again, as many of us know, the ceasefire has not stopped Israel from killing Palestinian civilians. They keep shooting. They keep bombing. It's not a true ceasefire. At the Nasir, and they keep pushing them farther. Picture just fell. Poster fell. Sorry. They keep pushing them farther. Israel keeps pushing their claimed territory farther and farther, and the area that the Palestinians are in keeps shrinking, and so they're very it's a very stressful thing to not have, to have this small area to look for anything that you can. The moment you step out, there is a sniper waiting for you at this point. At the Nasser hospital in southern Gaza, dozens of Palestinians gathered Thursday to mourn three Palestinian journalists. Here it is, including a frequent contributor to Agence France Press. Till the day before, with an Israeli strike, when an Israeli strike, I'm sorry, I'm missing words, hit their vehicle, according to Gaza health officials. The Israeli military said the strike came after it spotted suspects who were operating a drone that posed a threat to its troops. They'll say anything, by the way. Israel, famous liars. Now we got DHS in America who do the same shit. They operate the same as Israeli forces. They just lie about shit. They'll do a thing and they'll just come out and lie, and they expect you to believe it every time. Rasana Salah, who lives in a tent with her husband and 6 kids, starting a fire is a critical daily chore so they can cook and keep warm. Her family has barely enough clothes to keep them warm. She said the family cannot afford to buy firewood or gas, and that they are aware of the dangers of burning plastic, but have no other choice. And this is what I was actually going to bring this up earlier. Burning plastic is extremely dangerous and plays a role in causing cancer. Life is very hard, she said, as her family members threw plastic and paper into a fire to keep it burning. We cannot even have a cup of tea. This is our life, she said. We do not sleep at night from the cold. Firewood is just too expensive, says Aziz Akhil. His family has no income and they can't pay the 7 or 8 shekels, about $2.50 it would cost. My house is gone and my kids are wounded, he said. His daughter, Lena Akhil, said he leaves the family's tent early each morning to look for plastic in the garbage to burn, the basics of life. And it just goes on. I'm gonna go next to this part. What's next in Gaza? While Trump tries to build support for his board of peace by mapping out a future for Gaza, more details about what's ahead were emerging Thursday. Ali Shah, the head of a new future technocratic government in Gaza, said that the Rafah border crossing will open in both directions next week on the Gaza-Egyptian border. Israel said in early December it would open the Gaza side of the crossing, but has yet to do so. Reopening the crossing would make it easier for Palestinians in Gaza to seek medical treatment or visit family in Egypt. Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to send $1 billion to the border peace for humanitarian purposes in Gaza if the U.S. unblocks the money. He met with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Moscow. We believe that only forming and proper functioning of the Palestinian state can lead to the final settlement of the Middle East conflict, Putin says. I will say this. Opening that Rafah border and getting Palestinians to go to Egypt to seek medical treatment or visit family will mean that they are not allowed back in. Israel will not let them back in. This is an ethnic cleansing. They're looking for every method that they can to get Palestinians out of the area. Just keep note. Keep note. If that crossing opens and people cross it, they won't be allowed back in. They've done this before. They've done it. Palestinians are denied the right to return. Okay. There's something that I wanted to go over, which was is this a video? I was talking about Greenland. And I wanted to go back quickly to Greenland because I wanted to do the Palestine news to come up, the Gaza news to go first before this, because yeah. So I wanted to bring up the fact that the majority of Americans oppose America taking control of Greenland. Okay, there's a number of reasons. One, we don't want military conflict. American people do not want the America to get into an armed conflict because it's too costly and we're hurting here at home. Two, they don't want to spend. They don't want the country to spend 700 billion fucking dollars to buy Greenland. Okay, they also don't want American government to pay Greenlanders $100,000 each for as being becoming part of the United States, and furthermore, and probably the most important piece, Greenlanders do not want to be American, and I can't fucking blame them because guess what they got? They got universal health care. They've got free education. They take care of their fucking people. Okay, America does not do that. I mean, look, like, god damn it, Americans are in medical debt, and Trump is talking about taking Greenland. People can't afford their mortgages anymore. People can't afford rent. People can't afford to go buy groceries. Inflation is soaring on groceries. The cost of beef has skyrocketed since he's been in. And not only that, you got the fucking Gestapo breaking people's doors down and apprehending them, pointing guns at their fucking families. And he wants to take Greenland? What the hell? What the actual hell, dude? You're not even helping your goddamn voters. They're like he's throwing meat to the base by doing all this propaganda. Like, look at the Somali fraud that's happening. Look at the rapists. Look at the child molesters that we've apprehended. Let's buy Greenland. How does that help Americans, man? How does that help Americans? Like, first, like, my first example, he's not arresting rapists and murderers. He's arresting fucking people at work, at churches. He's arresting people. They're arresting people going to their court dates. He's letting ICE break into homes and steal people when they're sleeping. These aren't criminals. So how is brutalizing not only migrants but American citizens, killing American citizens? How is that helping your constituents? How is that helping Americans? Because Americans are still feeling inflation in their in their pockets. They feel they see the money that they are spending going to like two items instead of the six items that they could have bought before. Buying Greenland doesn't help that. Um, Going to war doesn't help that. It's just stupid. A Quinnipiac poll, university poll, found 55% of voters opposed the United States trying to buy Greenland, with majorities of Democrat voters 85% and independent voters 58% opposed, and a majority of Republican voters in 67%. So even the Republican voters don't want that. They don't want that. I think the only ones who want that are the MAGA chuds who are literally just believe whatever their pedophile protector tells them to. They will literally just rewire their thinking based off what he says. Greenland, though, is not for sale, with Danish and Greenlandic officials saying that the island can't be bought. Greenland is a self-governing territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. Now, this is January 16th. This is right before Davos. But I just wanted to bring that up. Opposition rises to nearly 9 in 10 voters when asked if the U.S. should try to take Greenland by military force. Something President Trump has said is always an option. Just 9% of U.S. voters say that it would support the U.S. trying to take Greenland by military force. In all, 86% of voters, including 95% of Democrats, 94% independents, 68% of Republicans, oppose the U.S. trying to take Greenland by military force. It's a very extremely unpopular position for the president to hold. Yet he was saying it. Reuters Ipsos poll also found low levels of support for Trump's push to take over Greenland. Just 17% of Americans said they approve of U.S. efforts to acquire Greenland, including 40% minority of Republicans. Support was even lower among Democrats, 2%, and others, 9%. Do they have? I don't. Um, yeah, NATO. This will absolutely hurt NATO. Now, I wanted to kind of I wanted to go jump from that to Fox News talking about it, right? Because this is more recent, right? So we now understand that Americans don't want they don't want America to take over Greenland, whether it be by buying it or military force. Trump has, ruled out military force, but you know what? You can't take him at his word, especially if you start giving him land to build more military bases. You already have America in your backyard, and you got a motherfucker saying, I'm just gonna take it. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't do that. As President Donald Trump escalates his efforts to acquire Greenland from Denmark, the latest national polls reveal that most Americans oppose taking over the massive, crucially strategic island that lies between Arctic and Atlantic oceans. Trump is holding crucial talks Wednesday on Greenland with NATO allies during a quick stop in Davos. On the eve of his trip, the president said there's no going back on his efforts to take over Greenland, asking a White House news conference how far he'd go to acquire the semi-autonomous Danish territory. Trump said, "You'll find out." That was the most sinister thing I've heard in the last 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, this man has done a shit ton of stuff, but this recently was really ominous. Because again, you don't know what he's gonna do. He might get those plots of land in from Denmark and Greenland on Greenland soil, build a military base, and then what happens if he starts building military bases? You're more ripe for the plucking. You only got one military base with a few hundred U.S. military members. What happens when there's well over 1,000 military members there? What happens when they have missiles on Greenland soil? What happens when they have the means to point their guns at you? What happens then? I'm just saying, like, think about it. I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States. But Trump added, I don't want to use force. Oh, he said, I don't want to. I thought he said he won't. I thought he said he ruled it out. If he said, I don't want to, wait, hold on. Let's wait. But Trump's moves are facing opposition from Democrats and some Republicans on Capitol Hill. The most recent survey suggests that there's little appetite among Americans to take over the island. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what the American public wants. He doesn't care. He's got MAGA, and they're going to ride with him all the way to hell. If he was to drink that Kool-Aid, he'd drink that Kool-Aid right after him. 86% of voters nationwide question. Yep, so we got that. We got these statistics. The point of this article is he doubles down, as polls show. Separately, only 14% surveyed in a CBS News poll conducted January 14th, January 16th said they would approve the use of military force. Meanwhile, by a 55 to 37% margin, voters questioned the Quinnipiac survey said they oppose any U.S. efforts to try to buy Greenland. But there's a stark political divide on this question, with the vast majority of Democrats and nearly 6 in 10 independents opposed to buying Greenland, and more than 2/3 of Republicans supporting such efforts. Trump has said in social media posts that the United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security, and that anything less than U.S. control of the island is unacceptable. But the president push for U.S. to acquire Greenland is causing massive tensions with Denmark and other NATO nations. His push to buy Greenland is absolutely it's so unpopular that even Fox News is saying it's unpopular. Like, I mean, I get that this is an article, so they have to have more integrity, but like, you had Jesse Waters calling him daddy recently. You had Sean Hannity calling him daddy. These people are sick. They're sick. I don't know what to do. Deprogramming has to happen. And a lot of these motherfuckers need to be in prison. So, anyways, ICE, real quick. Let's get to ICE because there's a few things. Um, there's this one that I want to talk about because this is absolutely fucked up. But I'm wondering if I can find. Well, let's read into this real quick. So ICE detains a 5-year-old boy. You heard that right. They detained him, and I'm expecting that they probably thought about sending him to Trump. I shouldn't joke about this, but Trump's a pedophile. I shouldn't joke about the little boy being detained. I mean, Trump is a pedophile and a pedophile protector. This is, I mean, come on now. Do we even have to have that discussion? He won't let the Epstein files. His DOJ is refusing to release Epstein files. Anyways, a 5-year-old boy arriving home from preschool in Minnesota was taken by federal agents along with his father to a detention facility in Texas. School officials and the family lawyer said, making him the fourth student from his Minneapolis suburb to be detained by immigration officers in recent weeks. Federal agents took Liam Conejo Ramos from a running car while it was at his family's in his family's driveway on Tuesday afternoon. Columbia Heights Public School Superintendent Zena Stevnik said during a news conference Wednesday. The officer then told him to knock on the door to his home and to see if other people were inside, essentially using a 5-year-old as bait, she said. And this is crazy because DHS, the lying motherfuckers that they are, came out and said, oh no, he was abandoned. Sorry, I got a text message. They're like, oh no, he was abandoned, and so we had to use him. We had to detain him because the father had abandoned him, and yada yada yada. Look at this. You read the damn article, and you find out it was in their goddamn driveway. God, oh, this administration is so goddamn monstrous, so goddamn disgusting. And it's so shameful that you have Democrats out here saying, "Oh yeah, we'll fund ICE if they get proper training." There's no training. There's no retraining for ICE agents. They're the fucking Gestapo. This is what they were meant to do, especially under Trump. This is what Trump wanted. This is what Trump's base wanted. Okay, there's no there's nothing you can do except for abolish it completely. You have to get rid of it. And they're back to using tear gas and pepper spray on protesters. Anyway, Stefanik said that the family has an active asylum case and has not been ordered to leave the country. Why detain a 5-year-old? She asked. You cannot tell me that this child is going to be classified as a violent criminal. And they probably will. They're like, actually, you see, we had to tactically detain this 5-year-old because this 5-year-old was getting ready to spit venomous 5-year-old words at me, singing Twinkle Twinkle Star is actually a hymn of death, and he was going to place a curse on me, so we had to detain him for these violent actions, that type of thing. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement that ICE did not target a child. She said that also, by the way, acting like they wouldn't target a child when they literally gassed a car full of children, when they literally went to a Chicago apartment building, and they literally zip tied kids and dragged them out in their underwear, put them in the back of the van without their parents. Are you really fucking telling me that ICE wouldn't do this shit? Because I know they would, because they've done it before. She said immigrants and Customs Enforcement was conducting operations to arrest the child's father, Adrian Alexander Cohasa Arias, who McLaughlin said is from Ecuador and in the U.S. illegally. He fled on foot, abandoning his child, she said. Fucking liars. For the child's safety, one of our ICE officers remaining with the child while their other officer apprehended Conejo Arias. McLaughlin said, adding the parents are given the choice to be removed with the children or have them placed with a person of their choosing. This is absolutely disgusting. I want to move on because I don't know if you heard, but ICE has been detaining off-duty cops. Um, Let me see if this comes up. Wait, let me see. Minneapolis off-duty police. Where is it? Where is it? Detain or can I get it? I don't think they detained him, but I'm trying to get it. I know they did a story on this. I don't know why I can't find it, but so I'll just go ahead and describe it. So the police chief in Minneapolis, or it might have been St. Paul, I can't remember, Twin Cities. He came out and he was talking about how um, the ICE officers were stopping their off-duty cops because some of their off-duty cops are people of color, and they were stopping them and questioning them and asking them for ID and all this stuff. And it's been really bad. And it's like we've been warning that like ICE is is not there to protect the community. They're there to harass and brutalize the community, and they don't care if you're a cop. They don't care if you're a goddamn vet. They're going to do um, they're going to do the damn thing that they are meant to do. Oops. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if it's Minneapolis. I really want to find this. It's all right. So yeah, we do have some. We just go with USA Today because I don't know if I can get Washington Post. All right. Yeah. I mean, they drew guns on an off-duty officer in Minnesota. So, immigration agents have stopped off-duty police officers in Minnesota solely because of the color of their skin. A group of local police chiefs alleged as concern grows over the handling of immigration enforcement to the state. I'm reading too fast. American citizens are being stopped on the streets with no cause and are being forced to produce paperwork to determine if they are here legally, said Mark Burley, chief of the Brooklyn Park Police Department, which operates in a suburb north of Minneapolis. He added that police officers fell victim to this while off duty and that the stops appeared to target people of color. In one encounter, a Brooklyn police officer was boxed in by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents who demanded her paperwork, Burley said. Agents had their guns drawn, he said, adding that one agent knocked the police officer's phone out of her hand when she tried to record the interaction. I wish I could tell you this was an isolated incident, Burley said, flanked by other local chiefs of police. If it is happening to our officers, it pains me to think of how many of our community members are falling victim to this every day. It has to stop. This is what people have been trying to say. ICE does not fucking care. Their whole duty is to go into communities and brutalize and put fear into the communities. This is what they are meant to do. They are the Gestapo, and they're clearly there to bring harm to the community. And so this idea that police officers need to be aligned with them and help them is absolutely fucking mind-boggling when they don't give a shit if you're a police officer. They will pull you over. They will point guns at you. They don't care if you have brown or black skin. They don't give a damn, they're gonna harass you. And then if you're a white person, you still gotta be careful, because what are they gonna do? They're going to tear gas you. They're going to beat the shit out of you. They will beat the shit out of you. Put you in their vehicle. Beat the shit out of you in the vehicle. Dump you all out in a parking lot. There have been reports of them dumping people in the woods, um, without like sufficient weather related gear. They've been they've been breaking into people's houses, handcuffing them, taking them away, and dumping them miles away from home. They're not there to protect. So it's like, I don't understand. I don't know what needs to happen for like local law enforcement to realize that ICE is not, they're, first of all, they're not properly trained. They're not actual law enforcement. They are the fucking Gestapo. They are goons meant to they are goons. They are Nazis, and they are meant to go in and bring put fear into your community. So you need to step up. This is like, I can't believe I've come to this. Like, I saw this. I think it was a Ryan Grimm tweet, basically saying that it's kind of crazy to think that the way that ICE has been acting has like led people to view like police conduct as uh as something benevolent, like that. I'm paraphrasing here, but like the way that ICE is acting really does make the way police officers look to be saints. It's crazy. And so it's like the police need to step up and start arresting ICE agents every time they do an illegal action. Breaking into someone's house without a judicial warrant is an illegal act already. So every motherfucker who's done it needs to be in handcuffs. Every motherfucker who is out there beating up teenagers, gassing children in cars, shooting mothers, needs to be arrested. So I just wanted to bring this one to attention, because it's like Tim Walz, Jacob Fry. You need to put up or shut up. I know Vance is in Minneapolis today, so we'll see what comes out of that. Um, I wanted to say that the protest that happened, um, at the church last Sunday, they made an arrest. Um, they made several arrests, but the prominent one, a prominent civil rights attorney, and at least two other people involved in an anti-immigration enforcement protest that disrupted service at a Minnesota church have been arrested. Trump administration officials said Thursday, even as a judge rebuffed related charges against journalist Don Lemon. So, context behind this, if you don't know, is that church that they went to, the pastor of that church works in the local like ICE office, right? He works for ICE, and so they went to this specific church because of that specific reason, to protest him being part of ICE. Um, and so now the Trump administration is going to use this as a means to as a means to further crack down on dissent. And it's fucking crazy because um I'm sorry, the guy who shot Renee Good 2 weeks ago is his whereabouts unknown. Motherfuckers raised $500,000 for him. That man could be out of the country for all we know. They refused to bring him in. They refused to have an investigation for that man who shot Renee Good, murdered Renee Good, executed Renee Good. State violence is happening to American citizens. And it's, it's like Democrats like are just kind of like, well, we're gonna write a strongly worded letter instead of, I don't know, holding up all hearings and meetings until the Republicans concede and say, okay, you know what, maybe this is wrong. Maybe that woman shouldn't have died. You know what I mean? Instead, like, because you have the Republicans, they're just backing Trump. You had a fucking oh god, was he a senator? Did a senator come out and say about Greenland? It's like, yeah, I've got nothing critical to say about, or I'm not a critic of Trump. I just question the people who are saying he should get Greenland. They're cucks. They're all cucks. They don't care. There's no resistance. And I mean, Democrats are showing their bellies, and the people are out there, and they're showing out, and they're doing the work. They're getting ready to. I didn't really get to talk about this, and I should have. I should have put it up first. They're doing a general strike tomorrow in Minneapolis, and there's some other cities that are doing a general strike in coordination. Um, People are not going to work. They're not going to spend money. Um, and they're going to march. Where I am currently, there is no plan to do that. It's very hard to do that in this city, I believe. I live in Columbus, Ohio. Um, I don't have work tomorrow, so there's that. But I'm also planning on not spending any money tomorrow, as showing my solidarity with the cause. But really, it needs to happen nationwide, and I think more and more people are getting on board with this idea. I hate that it came to such atrocities for this to happen, because I mean, the people have been exploited for far too long, and general strike should have happened long ago. But it's at least it's happening, and I will take that. um yeah, I want to read some more of the story, and then I got to get going. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the arrest of Nikema Levy Armstrong in a post on X. On Sunday, protesters centered the city's church in St. Paul, where a local official with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement serves as a pastor. Bondi later posted on X that the second person had been arrested, followed by a third arrested announced by FBI Director Kash Patel. The Justice Department quickly opened a civil rights investigation after the group interrupted services by chanting ICE out and justice for Renee Good, referring to the 37-year-old mother of three, who was fatally shot by an ICE officer in Minneapolis earlier this month. Listen loud and clear. We do not tolerate attacks on places of worship, the Attorney General wrote on X. Oh, is that fucking right, Pam Bondi? Then why the fuck have ICE agents been going into churches and detaining people? I fucking wonder what it is. These people absolutely disgust me. Pam Bondi, Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, to Pete Hegsbreth. It don't matter. They're all disgusting freaks, and they all need to rot in prison. They all need to fucking rot in prison. And MAGA needs deprogramming. I'm sorry, it needs to happen. I'm not sorry about that. Fuck them. City's church belongs to the Southern Baptist Convention and lists one of its pastors as David Easterwood, who leads the local ICE field office. Many Baptist churches have pastors who also work on other jobs. Vance threatens the protesters with prison terms. Levy Armstrong, a civil rights attorney, prominent local activist, had called for the pastor affiliated with ICE to resign, saying his dual role posed a fundamental moral conflict. That's exactly right. You cannot lead a congregation while directing an agency whose actions have cost lives and inflicted fear in our community, she said Tuesday. When officials protect armed agents, repeatedly refuse meaningful investigations into killings like Renee Goods, and signal they may pursue peaceful protesters and journalists, that is not justice, it is intimidation. Exactly correct. That's what they are doing, and they are currently, as they have been, trying to spread fear so that people no longer dissent. All right. So, anyways, that is all I've got today. Um, Today was one of those days where my thoughts were very, very jumbled, and also I was just moving fast because I had a very limited amount of time. So I will be back. Thank you, everyone, and remember to stay strong. and peace and solidarity. And yeah, take care, guys. Keep resisting. I'll see you next time.